The 5th annual PinkNews Awards will take place on the 18th of October, and PinkNews is delighted to unveil the shortlisted nominees in all awards categories. The awards will take place on the 18th of October from 6:30 p.m. at 1 Great George Street in the heart of Westminster. It will celebrate the contributions of politicians, businesses, campaigners and community groups to improving LGBT life in the UK and beyond. A new category this year is the Third Sector Equality Award, which celebrates the contribution of third sector organizations towards achieving equality. Use the link below to vote for your favorites. Check out the list of nominees in this category below. Amnesty International UK has a robust equality and diversity policy and isn't afraid to enforce it where necessary. The needs and concerns of staff are engaged with and acted upon by the organization's Equalities and Diversities Working Group. Gender-neutral facilities are being rolled out to better serve all staff. Amnesty serves the LGBT community in all its outward work based on a belief that human rights necessarily precludes any discrimination or subjugation of LGBT people. A number of LGBT-specific work streams and forums, including an LGBT network, highlight and enhance campaigns on LGBT rights. Amnesty defends and promotes LGBT rights around the world. Examples include fighting the anti-gay purge in Chechnya to supporting prides around the world. It also works on LGBT rights in Russia, Turkey, Taiwan and Japan, as well as campaigns in the UK and the rest of Europe. Barnardos puts equality and inclusion at the heart of everything it does, from the way it supports children and young people to who works or volunteers for the charity. Building a diverse Barnardos is a core part of its 10-year corporate strategy 20,162,025. The charity is actively working to create a workforce that is inclusive of LGBT staff and volunteers in order to understand and respond to the needs of LGBT young people and to increase LGBT awareness. Barnardos led campaigning for LGBT fostering and adoption, and for around 20 years has helped many children to thrive in loving, safe family environments. Its wide range of services to support LGBT young people includes the Positive Identities service that supports young people struggling with sexual orientation and gender identities. Its Department of Education-funded anti-bullying training program challenges the attitudes and behavior in schools, families, faith and wider communities towards LGBT people. Safe Zone training has made Barnardos and its services welcoming places for LGBT people and has been rolled out to GP practices, health services, youth services and schools. With a network of over 400 Barnardos staff who are LGBT allies, the charity clearly signals its inclusion for LGBT staff, volunteers and service users. National Union of Students NUS. The National Union of Students promotes liberation at the heart of the organization and inducts all new joiners with this policy in mind. The NUS HR policy includes the code of conduct and expectations of staff, volunteers and the NUS as an organization, and specifically a policy against homophobia, biphobia, transphobia and any other form of discrimination, harassment or bullying. The Liberation Department includes LGBT campaign resources, toolkits and materials, and regularly holds events. Staff as well as NUS members benefit from the events, as well as celebrations of LGBT History Month, IDAHOBIT, World AIDS Day and other LGBT-specific days. The NUS raises money for LGBT charities and works with LGBT partners, and campaigns from the union have also lobbied the government on issues from same-sex marriage to the blood ban. Toolkits, workshops, briefings and reports from NUS members are released every year. These look at LGBT representation in further education, an LGBT History Month timeline, campaign and events guide, a bi-inclusivity toolkit, gender-neutral bathrooms toolkit, World AIDS Day information and more. National Theatre. The National Theatre holds diversity at the heart of its vision and considers it as integral to its success. A diversity and inclusion strategy was launched in 2016 which aims to reflect the diversity of the UK population in its work on stage. Internally, the NT hosts discussions open to all staff, including a range of expert speakers and LGBT issues called We Need to Talk, a 12-week program of discussions on issues like being LGBT at the NT, the representation of LGBT people in the media, religion and LGBT, and 50 years since the partial decriminalization of homosexuality. The NT uses data monitoring and an LGBT network for its staff, and a number of exhibitions represent LGBT issues. On stage, the NT has produced a wide range of shows featuring LGBT issues and characters such as Angels in America, queer theater and collaborations with venues like The Glory, the Queer and East End Pub. A program of talks and discussions also took place alongside Angels in America, and other shows like Twelfth Night featured gender-flipped roles. Historically, the NT has produced shows like Bent Wig Out and The Drag. These are enhanced by platform performances and the NT Learning Department's program. St. Mungo's homelessness charity. St. Mungo's has inclusion as one of its 5 core values and considers diversity and inclusion fundamental in achieving its vision that everyone has a place to call home and can fulfill their hopes and ambitions. St. Mungo's 201,518D strategy from equality to inclusion aims to promote a genuinely inclusive environment where everyone feels they belong. A diversity and inclusion steering group leads on the strategy. Its members include representatives of 7 staff diversity networks from across St. Mungo's and 3 members of the executive team. Managers have mandatory face-to-face training, including elements on LGBT inclusive practice. This training is co-produced and co-facilitated by members of the St. Mungo's Staff Diversity Networks, which is reviewed by Stonewall. All staff also undertake mandatory e-learning which covers LGBT inclusion-specific topics. Individual elements include trans awareness, sexuality and mental health. An internal mentoring scheme supports LGBT staff and developmental training is promoted in the 7 diversity networks including the LGBT network. The network also has a budget to attend external events such as the Stonewall Conference, and to support St. Mungo's clients to attend Pride events, which they have done this year in London, Brighton and Bristol. In addition, staff are encouraged to get involved with the active LGBT network which provides support, advice and best practice to LGBT staff and allies. St. Mungo's has marked LGBT events like IDAHOBIT, Trans Day of Visibility and Bi Visibility Day, among others, across the organization with events, blogs and talks. Tate Galleries. Tate is on a journey to embedding diversity and inclusion in every corner of the organization. There has been a commitment and focus on LGBT employees in recent years. The diversity and inclusion strategy Tate for All starts at the top with leadership, and the board is tasked with making the organization best serve its LGBT employees. Internal communications including a dignity and respect at work policy act as a guide for management to ensure that all venues are safe spaces for staff and the public. Tate works with Stonewall to ensure that training, procurement, policy and community engagement, and to benefit LGBT employees. This has led to an increased investment in training, analysis systems, diversity champions, a diversity and inclusion manager, welfare officer, and diversity champions are all mechanisms in place for reporting, supporting and ensuring the welfare of LGBT employees. A staff LGBT network brings colleagues together for development, support and to provide a voice within Tate. Outwardly, exhibitions like Queer British Art 18,611,967 prove a commitment to LGBT representation in all ways as well as marking LGBT History Month, IDAHOBIT and Pride. Click here for the form to vote for your favorites for the PinkNews Awards 2017. The PinkNews Awards is generously supported by Lloyds Banking Group.